President Bola Tinubu meets King Charles at Buckingham Palace. Both leaders highlight cherished relationship.
That is an opportunity for Nigeria to see what is in it for Nigeria, but more strategically, what's in it for Africa.
Ahead of United Nations summit, stakeholders want a Nigerian delegation to seek investments in the country's youthful population.
Provide additional relief intervention, including medical consumables and medicaments.
And NEMA convenes National Coordination Forum meeting to review recent floods. Comes up with renewed mitigation strategies. Hello and welcome to the news desk at 6 on Nta News24. We're live in Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. The President, Bola Tinubu, has welcomed the National Bureau of Statistics' new report on the country's trade balance. In a statement from the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the report says Nigeria recorded another trade surplus in the second quarter of 2024, hitting 6.9 trillion naira, and the current surplus is 6.60% higher than the 6.52 trillion surplus recorded in the first quarter. Just days after the country recorded almost 100% oversubscription of its first $500 million domestic bond and half-year revenue of 9.1 trillion naira, the latest report underscores the increasing positive shifts in the economy over the last year. President Tinubu expresses confidence in the reforms his administration is pursuing and believes they will create a more robust economy that will usher in a new era of prosperity for Nigerians. And President Bola Tinubu has met with King Charles III at the Buckingham Palace for a private meeting. And during the meeting, both leaders highlighted the enduring and cherished relationship between Nigeria and the United Kingdom. This will be the second meeting between the duo after they first met in Dubai at the COP28 climate summit last year. A statement by the Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, reveals that the latest meeting was at the King's request, and both leaders discussed global and regional matters of shared priority, focusing on the urgent and complex challenge of climate change. President Tinubu and King Charles also explored opportunities for collaboration in anticipation of the upcoming COP29 summit in Azerbaijan and the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa. The President reiterates Nigeria's firm commitment to addressing climate change in a manner that aligns with the country's energy security objectives, while affirming Nigeria's readiness to adopt global strategies for sustainability. During their dialogue, the two leaders shared ideas for innovative approaches to climate financing and funding, expressing mutual interest in strengthening partnerships by harnessing Nigeria's leadership position in Africa and the Commonwealth. Ahead of the United Nations summit of the future slated for 20th of September, stakeholders want the Nigerian delegation to focus on issues that will promote investments in the youthful population of the country. They were a part of the highlights of the technical meeting organized by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on International Cooperation, Dapo Oyewole. Ekene Ndilwe reports.
The summit, which is at the instance of the United Nations Secretary General, will bring together world leaders to forge international consensus to safeguard the future. In this hall are stakeholders deliberating on major issues that should shape presentations by the Nigerian delegation at the summit.
The president is a responsive and listening president. This event ensures that before he leads the Nigerian delegation to go speak to the rest of the world, that the deliberations and the discussions here will feed into his thinking, feed into his perspectives, and feed into the position that Nigeria will present to the world. So he's a leader that carries his people along.
For these stakeholders, Nigeria has the highest population of youths in the world, and the delegation should focus attention on turning this number into assets for prosperity in Nigeria and Africa.
And what that is an opportunity for Nigeria to see what is in it for Nigeria, but more strategically, what's in it for Africa.
So the conversation here is trying to position Nigeria not only as a country, but Nigeria as one part of Africa that's going to lift the entire conversation on how to position Africa.
These experts are hopeful that Africa will be able to harness the opportunities available at the UN Summit. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulue, Nta News.
The third edition of the Global AI Summit, organised by the Saudi Data and Artificial Intelligence Authority, is engaging AI stakeholders in conversations bordering on how to bridge gaps, improve the quality of life, and create a future in which technology and humanity are in harmony. Tokbe Alabi reports that the summit features 450 speakers and participants from 100 countries, including Nigeria, along with prominent figures in the field of policymaking and thought leaders.
The summit's goal is to push artificial intelligence (AI) boundaries for humanity's benefit while addressing ethical challenges posed by generative AI such as forgery, while stressing the importance of tackling issues related to AI-generated information and highlighting global competition for AI talent, particularly from the global north. President, Saudi Data and Artificial Intelligence Authority, Dr. Abdullah bin Sharaf Al-Ghamdi, expressed gratitude to the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud for his patronage and emphasized the summit's role in furthering the kingdom's Vision 2030 and Saudi's commitment to its role in propelling economic growth through data and AI.
Generative AI has revolutionized how we create, innovate, collaborate. Just last month, AI passed the US medical licensing examination with a score of 98%.
The summit, which seeks to advance Saudi's Vision 2030 in AI innovation, features conversations on how to overcome the challenges inherent in attracting AI talent in order to ensure balanced digital, economic, and social development.
We have developed a sense of responsible AI principles to guide how we develop AI tools and the models that underpin them.
We've also established a specific Center for Artificial Intelligence research as a way of strengthening through evidence-based interventions.
AI is in the forefront of the fourth industrial revolution. Due to the importance of the AI, many countries have initiated several governance initiatives.
While AI is not a tool that replaces human capabilities, but a powerful enabler in expanding them, the summit believes fostering global collaboration in AI governance is key to SDAIA's ongoing work with government agencies to leverage AI in the healthcare and other sectors of the economy for optimal results. Tokbe Alabi.
At least 5 members of the Nigerian Governors Forum, led by its chairman, Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, are in Maiduguri to commiserate with the government and people of Borno State over the floods that ravaged a substantial part of the state capital. They undertook a tour of the affected areas, stressing the need for more interventions as the Borno State government cannot do it alone. Meanwhile, Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives Benjamin Kalu commiserates with families of victims and other persons affected by the recent floods in Maiduguri, Borno State. Kalu underscores the need for the activation of relevant policies and climate change around the country to help forestall future occurrences. The Deputy Speaker urged the National Emergency Management Agency and other relevant agencies to quickly step in and provide expected relief and succor to the victims. He assures of adequate legislative interventions to ensure that the effect of the tragedy will not overwhelm the people. And the National Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON, on behalf of the chairman of the 774 local government areas and councils, has condoled with the people of Maiduguri, Borno State, over the recent devastating floods that ravaged the city, leaving countless lives and properties affected. And the national president of ALGON, Aminu Muazu Meifata, in a statement called on the federal government to mobilize resources to support the victims, as it also urged emergency management agencies to provide immediate relief materials and support to the affected communities. And First Lady Oluremi Tinubu also commiserates with the governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Umarazulum, his wife, and the entire people of the state over the devastating impact of the recent floods, describing the tragic loss of lives and livelihoods as an immense burden that no community should have to bear. The First Lady says her heart and prayers are with the people of the state during this challenging time, expressing hope that Borno State rises above the tragedy and emerges stronger and more resilient, while praying that Almighty Allah grants the departed souls Al-Jannatu Firdausi. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has convened a National Emergency Coordination Forum meeting to review the situation, especially in Maiduguri, and come up with renewed strategies to mitigate floods. Director General of the agency, Zubaidu Umar, says the overwhelming situation requires high-level collaboration to reduce casualties across the country. Ilyasu Yakubu reports.
Preliminary assessment of the flood situation by the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, in Maiduguri, Borno State, puts the estimate of affected persons to be over 400,000. The NEMA Director General says 10 IDP camps have been established to cater for displaced persons, and more search and rescue officers have been deployed to the affected areas with more relief materials and water purifier machines to cater for the immediate upkeep of the victims. She said the situation in the country requires maximum and deliberate strategies from all the intervening agencies and international partners.
To complement these efforts, plans are underway to provide additional relief intervention, including medical consumables and medicaments.
Other speakers of the meeting emphasized the need for deliberate and more organized coordination for effective mitigation of disasters across the country.
What we are also then looking at is resource mobilization. So what we are asking the donors who are around the table is to be flexible with partners in terms of them allowing them to reprogram existing funding towards this emergency.
The flooded waters, reports say, is gradually receding, and some residents are already returning to their homes. In Abuja, Ilyasu Yakubu, Nta News.
And state governments in flood-prone areas are advised to use most of the 108 billion naira ecological fund released to them for the rehabilitation of dams and setting up of early warning systems against floods. This was the consensus of guests while discussing floods and emergency responses on Good Morning Nigeria. Kimini Williams reports.
Flooding has become a recurring phenomenon in Nigeria due to the increasing impact of climate change and many other human-induced factors. But the recent incident in Maiduguri and Bauchi states is a disaster of unimaginable proportions. Speaking on the program, Commissioner of Information and Internal Security of Borno State, Professor Usman Tar, noted that over 50,000 victims have been rescued and moved to camps. He said state government, with the help of support partners, are working towards resettling affected persons to their homes within the next 3 days and a week.
A number of the displaced persons are seeking shelters in the homes and business premises of their relatives, but a lot more are seeking, shelter in established camps, including Bakassi, Yerwa, Ali Sherif Primary School, Ashek Jerma Primary School, Mod Fanami Gubio Primary School around Gubio Road, Gubio IDP Camp, Teachers Village, These are all, places where people have sought shelter, and all the facilities have been opened for them.
Environmental experts, Professor John Osonwa, advised state government of flood-prone areas to earmark a sizable quota of the ecological funds for dam rehabilitation and early warning systems. He further suggested the need to establish a disaster insurance scheme for markets and farmlands.
Government should earmark funds to insure people. There are companies that can insure people against property damage. I saw the market was flooded, all the goods, all the wares in the market soaked with water, condemned. So markets like that, there can be group insurance for the market, so that if flood comes, government can activate the insurance.
We, SEMA, we quickly go and intervene. We provide a canoe for the search and rescue to all the affected local government areas.
There was also a call to local governments and communities to revive the culture of periodic sanitation as a preventive measure against human-induced factors of flooding. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, Nta News.
Watching the news desk at 6 on Nta News 24. We'll take a short break. More reports in a moment.
Congratulations, you're in the glory of God.
Congratulations to the ESL Benin Kingdom, Honorable Charles Idahosa JP, OFR, and Dr. Solomon Ehigiato Arase, CFR, retired Inspector General Police and former Chairman Police Service Commission. Jointly congratulate you, our dear uncle, Chief Dr. SOU Igwe, MON, the ESL Benin Kingdom, on the auspicious occasion of your 95th birthday anniversary. Today, you remain an icon of Benin culture and history. You are a blessing to the Benin race and Edo State, a proactive leader, a guide, a teacher, and above all, a kind-hearted man. At 95, you have lived a life full of love, wisdom, and commitment to the growth of all in the spheres of life. You have displayed an exceptional and inspirational wisdom, patience, and foresight in all you do. Truly, you remain an impactful role model to many. May God grant you many more years of good health and peace. Signed, Honorable Charles Idahosa, JP, OFR, former Commissioner for Information, Edo State, and Dr. Solomon Ehigiato Arase, CFR, retired Inspector General Police and former Chairman, Police Service Commission.
Welcome back. The NNPC Foundation says it will assist in bringing down the prevalence of heart disease burden and fatalities in Nigeria. Managing Director of the Foundation, Emmanuela Arukwe, made the comment at the 53rd Annual General Meeting and Scientific Conference by the Nigerian Cardiac Society in Port Harcourt. Lydia Sampson reports.
The NNPC Foundation is established to execute social impact initiatives on behalf of NNPC Limited and its subsidiary companies, focusing on health, education, environment, and access to clean energy. This is in line with its mission of enhancing the well-being of Nigerians. Managing Director of NNPC Foundation, Emmanuela Arikwe, represented, said that the foundation was supporting healthcare initiatives to save lives of vulnerable persons battling cardiovascular diseases.
The theme of this year's conference underscores the critical importance of cardiovascular health, a subject that is close to our hearts at the NNPC Limited and NNPC Foundation. We are committed to alleviating the financial burden on those who face economic challenges and ensuring that necessary treatments are accessible to all.
The Foundation's decision to collaborate with Nigerian Cardiac Society and health facilities nationwide to tackle the disease would further increase awareness and access. Nigerian Cardiac Society President.
This is our own contribution to making training easy for people so that many people would not run out of the country.
Urgent action is needed if we are to turn the tide against the rising incidence of cardiovascular disease in our country and across the sub-Saharan Africa.
It is also expected that the conference will come up with cost-effective solutions to enhance the cardiovascular health of Nigerians. NNPC Foundation, in line with their corporate social responsibility, has made notable contributions to public health through a range of impactful projects, including medical outreach, sponsorship of cancer screening and glaucoma screening, amongst others, with beneficiaries applauding the organization for its impactful efforts. Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
The Senate has rescheduled reconvening of plenary to Tuesday, 24 September by a week. In a statement, the Committee on Media and Publicity explains that the postponement is to enable the legislators to continue engagements with constituents on key issues. The Abuja School of Social and Political Thought has put the spotlight on the effectiveness of standby forces in the West African sub-region. This is in the wake of developments in the region and the potential threats they pose to democratic sustenance. Several countries in the West African and Sahel regions have, over the past 25 years, witnessed many coups, and these are believed to be hindering democratic growth on the continent with alleged adverse consequences. Best described as worrisome by the politicians at this convention, military experts, they discussed the viability of standby forces as proposed by the ECOWAS heads of state and government, and how their operations can be best utilized to tackle contemporary security challenges. The standby force was originally designed to have uniform trained officers from the five regions of Africa, comprising the military, the police and civilian contingents, to be deployed in times of crisis between member nations, human rights violations, humanitarian crises, and forced changes of government.
Faster into real democracy. And so for us, the standby force, or dealing with the instance of coup and instability in West Africa, has pragmatic impact for development.
You can only have a standby force to operate when most of the country, maybe 75% of the countries involved, are peaceful. Then the other 25% may be having issues. Then the forces from the 75% can intervene where necessary. But here, if you look at West Africa, for instance, now, almost 80% of the West African countries are in one crisis or the other.
Notwithstanding the frameworks that the ECOWAS helped to midwife in Mali, the request for authorization of an African-led international support mission to Mali, the UN refused.
And other challenges they identified include language barriers, the legal framework establishing the standby force having many loopholes, as well as logistics and funding. The story of the Nigerian Air Force Finance Seminar is one of vision, dedication, and a shared commitment to set the stage for a stronger and more resilient Air Force. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports that the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, made this known at the 2024 NAF Finance Conference.
As the narrative unfolds, the focus shifts to the role of the Nigerian Air Force in defending the nation as an institution which has long been a cornerstone of national security, with its members displaying unmatched courage and dedication. Yet, in these challenging times, the effective management of resources transcends operational necessity as it becomes a moral imperative.
The Accounts and Budget Branch is critical to operational effectiveness. When resources are managed with integrity and prudence, it enhances our ability to maintain a high state of readiness to train, equip, and deploy our personnel effectively, as well as to ensure that operational directives are executed without financial constraints.
The Accounts and Budgets Branch, the backbone of operational effectiveness, must embody integrity and prudence. The seminar's purpose extends beyond the surface, aiming to instill a deep-seated culture of accountability across all levels of command.
The Finance Seminar 2024 is aimed at developing the professional capacity of Nigerian Air Force finance personnel in the management of public funds towards accomplishment of Nigerian Air Force mission.
The presence of finance experts and senior officers as resource persons underscores the seminar's significance, which aims to refine systems and processes steering the Nigerian Air Force towards greater agility and effectiveness.
Those that are in finance, budget, and also procurement. Some of these reforms require additional skill. So it's one way that we feel the issue of prudency can be learned through training.
The theme of the seminar, fostering a culture of accountability in the management of NAF finances in support of contemporary air power demands, resonates deeply with one of the Chief of the Air Staff's philosophy, Olajide Bello, Nta News.
And that concludes the news desk at 6 on Nta News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adegundoye.